everyone, my name is Meg Treseder. I am the Adult Services Librarian at the Azle Memorial Library, and I am presenting some of our newest books to you. The first one is Winter Street by Ellen Hilderbrand, and I love this author. She typically writes kind of chick lit beach reads, and they're always in the summer, so I take them along to vacation with me, and I love them inevitably. This is one that she wrote for the holiday season. So I just finished it the other day, loved it. It's about a man who owns an inn on Nantucket. And this poor guy, his wife has just left him for their Santa Claus that shows up at their parties. So they're off together. The story follows him and his ex-wife, who is actually a famous newscaster, and several of their kids who are going through just a variety of issues. I like the books that she writes because they're always about characters that are invariably somehow wealthy, attractive, educated, but they all face, I think, very real life problems, and the endings are never tied up that neatly, and I think that's life. So I like her. The next one is the exact opposite of A Nice Christmas Story. It's called Horror Store. And take a look at this cool cover. This is by Grady Hendrix. And I think it's cool because, of course, it's supposed to be like an IKEA catalog. And there's the back, which kind of has a more horror feel. And even in the book, they have like an order form. They have pictures of furniture you could buy. So I think it's this really cool concept. It is a horror story, and if you're like me and you're a lightweight, I couldn't get to sleep that night. I was scared. I read this in a day, just like blew through it because I loved it so much. It is about an IKEA-like store called Orsk, and this manager has the bright idea to bring 2 of his employees to the store at night to stay overnight to see who's vandalizing the store, breaking in and doing damage to the store and the things in the store. And of course, mayhem and chaos ensue as they're there in the store, and it has a very creepy villain. He's got this weird, chilling philosophy. And you have kind of the stereotypical characters from like a horror movie. You have kind of the ditzy cheerleader and her clueless boyfriend, and the smart, nervy girl who has to kind of figure it all out. And I loved it. So the third one is The Book of Strange New Things. And I actually finished this last night and loved it. It's by Michael Faber. And I received excerpts of this book through email and couldn't wait to get it in and finally read it. So it's about a man named Peter who is a minister, and he leaves Earth to go to a planet called Oasis. And he's supposed to minister and preach, he's Christian, preach the gospel to the inhabitants there. And so he does, he lives in this exciting adventure, and his wife, Bee, is left behind back on Earth. And as soon as he leaves, pretty quickly, the world kind of starts to fall apart. We have a bunch of natural disasters, big earthquakes and typhoons that happen, and this leads to entire countries being decimated, corporations breaking down, and just general lawlessness starts to ensue. And poor Bee is left to deal with all of this alone. It's a beautiful story about faith in yourself and in your loved ones and in God. Of course, they're both very religious. But also what happens to a good marriage when people are far away from each other, and just how hard distance can be. And I think it was interesting. It so well illustrates how differently men and women communicate. Peter would write emails to his wife, and I was just like, Peter, what are you thinking, buddy? Because no woman is going to like hearing what you just wrote. It so clearly illustrates how different men and women are. And it's a beautiful book about marriage and faith, and I highly encourage that you read it. The last one is Moriarty by Anthony Horowitz. And I started this last night. I haven't had a chance to finish it, unfortunately. It is by the author who also wrote The House of Silk, which is another Sherlock Holmes book. This is a Sherlock Holmes book as well. And it was sanctioned by the Conan Doyle estate, and it's I think it's one of Amazon's best books of December. So people are very excited about this one. It's what takes place, supposedly, when Sherlock Holmes was supposed to have died going over the falls with his arch nemesis, Professor Moriarty. So I think if you're all a fan of Sherlock Holmes, you need to read this. Horowitz is a master of suspense, and I cannot wait to finish it. And that's it. Thanks for watching.